We're talking about sepsis now. It causes more than 50,000 deaths in the UK alone each year. But is enough being done to combat it?
Now, this morning in the studio, and they've been in this morning studio before, we say good morning to Tom Ray and his wife, Nick. And people may already know your story, guys, but just to recap, Tom lost both his arms, both his legs, part of his face, all because he contracted sepsis. This was 20 years ago. And today's in the studio because he's calling for things to change. And Tom, it's quite what you're asking for. It's taken a long time. Too late for you, but hopefully not late for other people, because this awareness about sepsis, we're now hearing more and more about it, but we're still not, it's not the default setting for checking about it when someone is admitted to hospital or when a doctor checks up on someone. So let's go through what you want done.
Well, incredibly, sepsis training doesn't feature as a standard part of our nurses' training, and I find that just scary, really. It's like getting on board a plane where the pilot has missed a few weeks of his training. So we're calling for mandatory sepsis training to be part of the nursing degree, if you like, so that they're alive to and aware of a condition that needs to be spotted and treated within one hour.
Speed is of the essence, isn't it?
Yeah.
Within 1 hour, you think.
Yeah, I mean, I was left for 12 hours with my sepsis undiagnosed. By that point, you know, they just come along and tell your wife that to take off the wedding ring and say goodbye.
I mean, terrible, Nick, you know, reading your story, because obviously, and Tom was put into a coma, but you were dealing with all this and you were pregnant.
Yeah, that's right.
Did you know much about sepsis when this happened to Tom?
No, nothing at all. So, I mean, obviously I've become the world's expert ever since, but no. And so when Tom was admitted to hospital, it was just, everybody was bemused, you know, from the junior nurse to the SHO to the registrar. There was just like a look of puzzlement that this kind of 38-year-old man could be declining so quickly, and nobody could put their finger on what it was.
But I suppose, Nick, when you look at the symptoms, I was just looking down the symptoms, that's sort of not surprising, because I'm looking at these things: slurred speech, high temperature, fast heartbeat, shivering, muscle pain, passing no urine, breathlessness, skin mottled or discoloured. You know what? It could be anything, which is why you guys are now saying, why don't you just get a simple test when you come in, no matter what it is? Yourself, yes, you may have had a stroke. Yes, you know, there may be, I don't know, you may have had a fainting fit. But at least if we test you for sepsis, we can rule that out. Yeah,
I mean, personally, I feel, I've said this many times recently, I think that everybody who walks into A&E there should just be a very, very quick sepsis. Just ask, could it be sepsis? For every patient, and they tell me that's unrealistic, Tom. But
the very least thing, though, is that, I mean, we've encountered in our travels now people like receptionists, for example, who are taking 100 calls a day, and they're turning people away on the phone. At least if there was some mandated training for kind of health care, people who work in healthcare at all sorts of levels. Yeah, they know, you know.
Yeah. And are you actually physically actively campaigning for this?
The RCN, the Royal College of Nursing, has actually kind of adopted the mandatory training for nurses.
But the thing is, Nick, it would make a medic's life easier, because then they could eliminate things and they could get to the core of something quite quickly. Yeah. And the scary things, if you've heard how Tom contracted a sepsis, or how he believes he did before, apologies for this. If you haven't, I think this is really scary, because in simple terms, sepsis is blood poisoning, yeah?
Yeah.
Now, you believe, what do you believe happened to you for you to get this?
I had flu. I also went to the dentist for a regular checkup, and they nicked my gum with one of those sharp things they use to scrape between your teeth with, and it cut the gum. And within 24 hours, I was declining fast.
Well,
and you think the two things were connected.
Yeah.
That's your belief, but I mean, who knows?
You may have noticed there, Tom's put his prosthetic arms on now.
Yeah. Hey, look at this.
How much? Why do you take them on and off so much, though, Tom? Do you want people to see?
I want people to
effects
see
of this?
men, women with amputations and have it accepted as normalised as part of everyday life. But I have these weird robotic arms that, hey, look at that. They go round and round, and look, I can go the other way.
I'm sure that has its uses.
Yeah, it entertains young children.
And do you give a lot of talks now?
Yeah, we run if you like, an inspirational, motivational speaking company. We go out to organisations and events and talk about. We talk about sepsis, but we also talk about more generally about how you can come back from any kind of crisis. Because everybody goes through something, don't they? Like debt or divorce, separation, bereavement, dependency. And
also how it affects both of you. You know, this has affected you physically, emotionally. You were watching all this happen to your husband. You were pregnant at the time. You've got children. You've watched this and been on this journey with them.
If you've been through something like this, it's either going to kill you or it's going to make you stronger, and you want to stop it happening for anybody else. We called it Resilience & Co because it's not just about the sepsis, actually. It's about the kind of mental health aspect of it, the fact that, you know, we struggled so hard with it. And we teamed up with Pippa Bagnall, who's she's a clinical type. She was a senior nurse and chief exec in the NHS, which means we've got some kind of clinical weight to our lived carer and patient experience.
Well, Pippa, you mentioned Pippa there. She said this should be so simple to spot, but the problem is staff still don't know enough about it, what to look for. Hospitals have got better, but there are real gaps in the community. So we want all staff, GP receptionists, nurses, doctors, everyone to have this training. It could make all the difference. You said an hour could be.
It's all about the testing, it's all about the symptoms, and for more information on how you can spot the signs of sepsis, because early detection is the important thing, if you just go over to This Morning app for life-saving advice on that. Guys, we continue to raise the awareness. Thank you very much indeed, and good luck with what you're trying to do.
Thank you. Thanks very much.